Yo, it's been a while. It's been a while. I think 11 months to almost a year, but I'm back. This time, better, doing things differently. And obviously, you can see I'm using my face this time. I'm not just talking behind the mic and doing bits behind the scenes. This time it's going to be my face. I decided to just do that because it makes things 10 times easier. Now, let's talk about the chapter. Once that's done, I'm going to talk about the direction I want to take this channel. So, let's talk about the latest Boruto chapter. So, first thing that happens is that Naruto is distraught because Boruto has basically been killed by Kawaki without hesitation, right? And literally Shikamaru just tries to pick Naruto back up, but the guy is just not getting up. He's distraught. His son is dead. And as much as, understanding as I am as a person, Naruto is a Hokage. He's in a leadership position, right? And as a leader, you should never show weakness. I feel like he's kind of lucky that Shikamaru was there. It was just Shikamaru, not the other leaders of the nation. Remember, Naruto's already lost power, right? So now that you've lost power, in their eyes too, and to the whole world, and you decide to cry when such a thing happens, right? Which is understandable, but at the same time, you're a leader, so you should pick yourself up and leave the grieving for a later time. I feel like Shikamaru, and I've always felt this, I felt like Shikamaru would have been a better Hokage than Naruto. And that's me just being honest, because he just knows what to do. When Asuma died, right, he held that shit in for a while. And he did it, during his private times. You get what I'm saying? He just cried and let out all the emotions and stuff. He knows how to, handle himself. And also when his dad died, he handled himself too. So a lot of ninjas during the ninja war, including Ino and all these other people, were able to contain themselves when their loved one died. So Naruto as the Hokage should have mastered this or should have been able to do it. But we know Naruto is the talk no jutsu master and the person who's always in his emotions, right? So therefore, when, something bad happens to him, he has to cry and he completely breaks down to the point where he can't even hold his sage mode. That shit disappears and he basically does nothing throughout the entire chapter. So that's my little criticism there for Naruto. I feel like he should have picked himself up and helped capture Code. If he had not broken down, Code would have 100% been captured. 100%. And Kawaki would have not had to do all the work this chapter. So let's talk about the next point. Now let's talk about a karma seal. Because let's be real, right? The karma is like a bootleg discount version of Orochimaru's jutsu, right? We already know that. The thing that happens this chapter, I feel like it's something that's put there to confuse you into thinking that this is kind of like a good scenario, because it's not. What happens is Momoshiki basically says the karma has not extracted 100%. I think it was like done 80%. And then he said, because it's done 80%, the remaining percentage of my DNA, right, of Otsutsuki DNA, I converted to basically rebuild your body. So that basically means that Momoshiki cannot revive 100%. And even though, he's used the remainder of the percentage to rebuild Boruto's body, the Otsutsuki DNA has basically been extracted 100%. Like, Boruto is 100% Otsutsuki. The only problem is that Momoshiki can no longer turn himself into Boruto because he used up the remaining percentage. That's good and bad. The only good thing about this is that Boruto can basically use Momoshiki's power without any consequence, or without worrying about Momoshiki completely converting or just accelerating the conversion process, because that's over. The only problem that a lot of people have failed to realize, because I see people like rejoicing within the YouTube comments of other YouTubers that I watch, right, is even though when Momoshiki was not fully extracted, this guy could still take over Boruto's body after Boruto was tired or ran out of chakra. So he's basically still there. And then the other thing is that people think that Momoshiki eventually is going to become a good guy. Like, bruh, this guy has been traveling to, planets for eons, just killing people aimlessly. He's not just going to turn into a good boy just because he's, sealed inside, the karma seal in Boruto's palm. That's not going to happen, right? So Momoshiki most likely saved Boruto for a reason, because remember, he's seen something into the future. Momoshiki has the ability to see things into the future with his Byakugan, and he said, no, that shit is still happening, because Boruto thought, well, why did you save me in the first place? Was this what you were talking about when you first implanted the karma seal? Momoshiki was like, nah, there's another reason for that. So most likely Momoshiki knows what the reason is, and that is why he decided to heal Boruto. So he most likely saw this whole situation coming, right? And everything is still planned. He's just waiting for the right opportunity. Because remember, he says the Karma Seal bonds his soul to the living world, meaning that he's not dead and he can still take over Boruto's body. So yeah, that's basically it there. I remember when Boruto first got the Karma Seal, and then a lot of people thought, oh, like, you know, as a reward for defeating a god, Boruto gets the Karma Seal. That's his reward. But nah, there was something behind it. It's like a double-edged sword. So most likely Momoshiki has some kind of motive, and he is planning this shit, I'm telling you. Now let's go on to the next bit of the chapter. So turns out that Kawaki vs Code is basically, you know, a one-way battle. Kawaki is basically dominating Code. In terms of Code as a character, I'm not really interested in Code. I don't know what it is about a character. All he does is just threaten, and then he turns up to Konoha, and then he gets his ass whooped. Literally, that's all it is. All Code has been doing is just talking, right? We're just getting paragraphs of this nigga talking, and then he gets his ass whooped. Kawaki basically has all of Ishiki Otsutsuki's power. So I'm guessing that he's now 100% Otsutsuki, because I'm not sure if it was said or not whether Kawaki's Karma Seal was fully extracted or not. I don't remember anyone saying that, but for some reason he can use all of Ishiki Otsutsuki's power without any, you know, consequences. So that's good, I guess. Kawaki damn near holds off when he was about to kill Code, right? I don't know why he did that, but that's, you know, instance of hesitation allowed Code to basically get, what's the guy's name? The little boy, I forgot his name, right? The little android kid came out, deflected Kawaki's blast, and then Kawaki basically was unconscious. If Naruto, I swear to fucking God, if Naruto picked himself up, did his duty as Hokage, and helped Kawaki, none of this would have happened. It would have been a victory, and that would have been it. The only threat is freaking Code. And if Naruto got his shit together, he could have helped, but that didn't happen this chapter. I guess that would basically be the end of the story, and Boruto would end. So I guess they had to do that for story purposes. Now let's talk about what's these new characters. The android lady. I forgot her name with the little kid as well. Both of them, I don't know what their deal is, right? Can someone really explain to me what these characters are about? All I know is that they're androids. They have very specific, you know, strong powers, and they're possibly stronger than Naruto and Sasuke. That's what I've read. I still need to, you know, go back and catch up with Boruto properly, right, to know what's going on. But anything she says is basically just don't hurt Kawaki. Don't hurt Kawaki. Don't hurt Kawaki. Like, a lot of the dialogue in this chapter suffers from just being dragged too much. I feel like, you know, a lot of the dialogue could be erased and we could have had information inputted there. That's what I think this chapter suffers from, right? But everything else, I in terms of pacing, I think it's all right. Though it's become slower since Kishimoto actually started writing the story. So I feel like if Kodachi was still in place, then, you know, the pacing would have been better. But yeah, in general, that's what the chapter struggles from. Just a lot of empty dialogue that ends nowhere, and it's basically repetitive. Let's talk about Kawaki's character real quick, right? So in this chapter, Shikamaru notices that Kawaki is basically ruthless. Well, since last chapter when he killed Boruto without hesitation, and in this chapter, which is the aftermath of what he did, Shikamaru basically knows that Kawaki is dangerous and that he is willing to do anything in order to achieve his goal. Now, that's a very important thing to note, but I'm here actually to defend Kawaki's behavior, because I think that I know where he's coming from, right? And though it hasn't been really explained why he's attached to Naruto, right? He's so attached to Naruto. We can actually guess the reason why. And it's basically because most likely Kawaki has been through nothing but hell his entire life. And then when he sees that relief, right, it becomes like an addiction. He's addicted to it. And he also sees that there are people out there who are angels like Naruto, who will see a person like Kawaki through the dark back into the light. So he's thinking, okay, maybe, you know, since this guy is not so bad and he's shown me another way, I'll make sure to protect him, to make sure that this person lives on and preaches on, and heals people out there who are wounded just like me. And I feel like that's what it is. Though he really, lets that need overpower his thinking, his compassion, so on and so forth. I feel like Kawaki is the ideal ninja who has no emotions and is just a tool, except he has his own motivations and he will hesitate at nothing to let anybody stop him. I feel like Kawaki is like the Eren Yeager of Boruto, right, or the Naruto universe. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Now, let's talk about my channel and what I'm going to be doing now. From now on, I'm just going to be mostly just filming myself, to be honest with you. I'm still going to be doing some anime content here and there, because obviously most of my audiences, love anime and Boruto. So don't worry, the anime stuff is still going to stay for me. But I'm going to be doing more reactions too, as well as giving my opinions, giving people advice, in life on how they should succeed and what things to do when they're in the dark, so on and so forth. Just basically, life advice, some coaching stuff. And, talk about anime. I'm going to be doing a lot of film reviews and in-depth videos about movies as well, right? The point of Cycles was never to just be about anime or Boruto. It was about everything I loved, right? Comprising the channel. I was supposed to look at this and be proud of myself, but in the end, it just ended up just being Boruto and nothing else, right? Because Boruto is what was doing it for me. But from now on, right, you're going to see more content. You're going to see more me. And hopefully this turns into a full-time thing, because that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I'm going to see you next video. I have nothing more to say. Bye.